Welcome to Unsolved Energy with Travi, where the dead still speak and the truth doesn't stay buried. I'm your host, Travi, professional evidential psychic medium, intuitive investigator, and the voice for stories that refuse to be silent. This is episode 5 of Unsolved Energy with Travi, and tonight's case is entitled Caught Slipping. Disclaimer: this podcast is for entertainment purposes only. The impressions shared are based on intuitive and spiritual interpretation. Now, for those of you that don't know, I sat still with the energy of Derek Samuel, 20-year-old African-American male that is missing in the state of Georgia. I had an opportunity to sit with this energy on May 18th, 2026. So I asked him a series of cold case questions, and what I'm going to do here is present the information to you. So get ready. Now, what we know is this. Derek Samuel, 20 years old, was with a group of friends in something Creek, Georgia. I don't know what the name of this place is, but they went to a local Target store in the area, and he indicated that he was going to link up with his sister, that they did not have to wait for him, and that they could go about their day, and he was going to find his sister and find a way home. What we also know is that no one has seen or heard from this boy since April 29th, 2026. And lastly, the other thing that we know is that these friends have been on social media defending themselves, telling people to review the footage from the police cams and the security camera footage throughout the shopping complex. The other thing that we know is that this behavior is not likely of this individual. He is not the type of kid, according to his mother, to not come home. He's not the type of kid, according to his family and friends, to not return phone calls and text messages. On Monday, May 18th, I felt that this baby was in the woods. My apologies to the family. And it comes out as of May 21st that his cell phone was pinging in the woods. So what I want you all to do is understand that out of all the things that we know, what we don't know is what really happened behind the scenes. And of course, that's where I come in. I tapped into the energy surrounding this case, connecting beyond the physical to uncover impressions, emotions, and possible truths that may still be lingering. So what I want you all to do is sit back, relax, and listen to my findings as I speak to the energy of Mr. Derek Samuel of the state of Georgia. Sit back, relax, and let's get into it. Hi, and welcome to Unsolved Energy with Travi. So I had an opportunity to sit with this energy. I was actually on a flight from Houston to Chicago the other day, and I said the best opportunity for me to sit still with this energy is now. We have 2.5 hours. Let me cut on my meditation playlist. Let me tap into the energy, and let's see what I'm able to hear. So I did present the energy with my series of cold case questions. If you haven't heard me ask the questions in previous episodes, you can go back and listen. I may indicate them here. But I'm not sure. Sometimes I just want to kind of go off my notes, and then other times, I think it's best to kind of give you guys a heads up on what exactly was asked of Spirit, and then read the response. Okay. But what I will say is that when I sat with the energy of Quavante John, is it Grady or Gandy? The African-American male that's missing from the state of Mississippi. I believe that is the previous episode to this one. That was a live reading. I sat with that energy in that moment and just recorded myself speaking to the energy. And instead of me hearing the responses telepathically, I actually said them aloud, which is how I was able to get the recording. I recorded this on the flight. I took my notes on the flight, so I'm just providing the transcript, so to speak, of the communication with the energy while I was on my flight. So sit back, relax, and let's get into it. Okay, so first and foremost, I tapped into the energy while I was on a flight from Texas to Illinois. Let's start there. I haven't done many connections, or had many connections on a flight. Mind you, there's 175 seats on the flight, and I had to try to focus on this one particular energy. It was draining, but I feel like it was worth it. So let's get into it. The first thing that I heard when communicating with this energy was the name Rip Hamilton. For those of you that are basketball fans or sports fans, you will know that Rip Hamilton used to be the point guard for the Detroit Pistons. So I was torn on what was the significance of the name Rip Hamilton. And his real name, I believe, is Richard. So I don't know if there's anybody involved in this case by the name Rich or Richard, but energy kept showing me Rip Hamilton. I think he's number 1. He used to be number 1 on the Pistons as well. I have to double check his number. So that's the first thing that stood out to me before I even began to ask a series of questions. So the second thing that I inquired about was, hey, like, how you feeling? How you doing? How do you feel about the current situation? And it almost felt as if Spirit was in denial about the situation. He was in denial about his current state of being. I don't know if that makes sense. I asked him how he was feeling, what was going on, and he just kept reiterating, ain't no way, bro. Ain't no way, bro. Then he's like yelled out like, no, ain't no way. And so I asked him, I said, hey, what are you wearing? Let me try to not distract you, but let me distract you. What you wearing? What you got on? What you wearing today? And I saw a hoodie, basketball shorts, white no-show ankle socks, and maybe like the Yeezy sandals. The ones that look like a little cage. And I asked him, like, how are you feeling? What is going on? He was really upset and completely in disbelief that he was in this current state energetically. Okay. So I asked him, what exactly transpired? What happened to you? And what I heard was execution style, back of the head, get on your knees. Okay. Execution style, back of the head, get on your knees. And what it felt like was that there was some sort of plot or revenge, and possibly over a female. And so I asked him what happened, what was the communication, what exactly transpired in that moment. And he said, I had a question. And my question was, why y'all doing this to my mama, bro? Why would y'all do this to my mama, bro? So what it feels like is that I asked him about the Target. Like, did you really go to Target? What was the plan? Were those your intentions to go to Target and, wait for your sister? And what I heard was that he had plans to meet a female at Target, either like a white or Hispanic female with dark brown or black hair. What I also heard is that to check possible dating apps or Facebook dating or Tinder. What I then saw was a possible van pull up. Looks like the kidnapper van, or like a dark colored car. So it feels like maybe the girl pulled up first as a decoy or a distraction, and the darker colored car I keep seeing a Challenger or a Charger. And then it feels like there was another truck or car that pulled up. And he was saying that in meeting this woman and meeting this individual that he had, what he indicated is that the meet and greet, the getting to know you from the dating apps or TikTok, or I just heard WhatsApp in this moment, is that it was cool until it wasn't. Okay. So I had asked him the question of, were you afraid that something was about to happen? And what he said was that it was cool until it wasn't. And then I asked him, did he know the person responsible? He said, this was planned. Someone was looking for my type for a few reasons. And then I have in my notes with an asterisk, it almost feels like he was trafficked. Okay. So then I asked him, where should investigators look for evidence or clarity? Check the wooded area, near water, cabin, or a campsite. I asked him, what was their motive or their emotional state for this? He said the emotional state is passive and nonchalant, almost as if they didn't care that I was actually a person. I asked him, is there someone close? Was it someone close to you? Is it like a stranger? Whoever did this to you, was it someone close to you? Was it a stranger? And what he said was the friends might be aware of the girl that he was talking to or calling, but they do not know what was supposed to happen once they met up. So what that says to me is that he had plans. They may have been familiar, like, oh, I'm gonna go meet this shorty, I'm gonna go talk to this girl, woo wop the bam, it's whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm letting y'all know, like, yeah, I got this girl I need to go meet. And they all for it, like, oh, you gonna get in where you fit in. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be up for you when you get there. But what they did not know is that she had an ulterior motive, and whoever she was working with had an ulterior motive. Okay? And so then I asked him if the person was still living, and he indicated that this individual has deleted messages and that to check his last cell phone ping. Check all of the cell phones in the area that pinged when his cell phone pinged in that area. And that would be an indicator, almost like an arrow pointing to the individual responsible for his disappearance. Okay? So then I asked him, is there something or someone who's withholding key information? And he said, the girl is under 24 or 25. She's into high school athletes, new graduates, 20 and up. It's almost as if she's on a mission to conquer, to find these particular athletes for alternative uses. Stay with me now. So then I asked him, you know, like, well, with that being said, you met this individual, you went to go meet the individual. How do you feel about the meet and greet or the interaction overall? And what I heard was stranger danger is a real thing. Please keep in mind that stranger danger is a real thing. And when it comes to listening to your mother, and when your mother say, them ain't your real friends, don't go nowhere with them. Don't trust that one. Don't do anything with that one. Don't get into no trouble with that one. Don't expect that one to bail you out or look out for you. He said, trust what your mama is talking about. I'm gonna leave that one right there. Okay. And then I asked him, is there anything preventing you from fully crossing over? And he said, my little sister. I'm not sure who can verify this information, but I heard my little sister. She's between 8 and 11 on dad's side. I'm going to come to her in a dream so that she's not afraid of me. She needs to get used to me coming to communicate, used to me coming to visit. But it's my little sister on my dad's side that needs to understand that I'm still here. Okay? So then I asked, what justice or resolution would bring you peace? What would bring peace to your soul? And he indicated that, man, I got to forgive myself for being at the wrong place at the wrong time. And so I said, okay, is there anything else that you want to add, or is there a message? And he pretty much said that I'm sending everyone with love and light. I wish that there was a way back. It feels like this happened on Mother's Day. I'm not sure, but I think he went missing on April 29th, which is not Mother's Day. But that was my note. So with that being said, and sitting with the energy, let me see if I can listen now and see what we come up with. I just saw woods. I just saw the woods. Like, man, check the woods, man. Man, check the woods, man. Like, it's almost as if they're not looking hard enough or looking deep enough. And I did see a TikTok of 2 young males who were talking about the possibility of him being trafficked. That did come up in the reading, but I didn't have a strong pull towards it. But it more so was whoever this woman is, or this individual is that these gentlemen are meeting online. She is hoodwinking and bamboozling them, basically come to like a particular area so they could quote unquote link up or meet in person. And in doing so, like, she pulls up in like a Challenger or a Charger, some like really nice car. And then she does like the swoopty, like she flips it and the individual swoop in the kidnapper truck. And then you're missing it on the news, and you've been missing since April 29th. At least that's what I saw. So, I'm trying to think, is there anything else that he wanted me to say? I read off all my notes in this moment. I've been saying since day one, he's in the hood. He's in the woods. I've been saying from day one, he's in the woods. We just didn't know how he got there. And so it's just a matter of someone thoroughly searching. And I'm not sure if you all have followed the podcast throughout its entirety, but there have been cases where the police have said, oh, we've done X, Y, and Z. We've combed over everything. We've looked through everything. We've searched through everything. And then the family members will come back that same day, less than 24 hours later. They're finding articles of clothing. They're finding combs, brushes, cell phones, iPads. And the police said that they already scanned the area. So it's just interesting. Like, if the police stop scanning at 6 p.m., the family shows up at 7 p.m. And in that hour, they found clothing, iPads, iPhones, note paper, somebody's purse, things like that. So again, with that being said, as it pertains to this Derek Samuel case, it just feels like that TikTok group, it was two gentlemen that indicated that the only people that would be able to get away with such a crime with all of the surveillance that is available in that area would be law enforcement. And how many times have we seen law enforcement in cahoots with celebrities, in cahoots with bad guys, so that they can do what they need to do? The police officers get their palms greased, meaning they get some sort of payout to turn a blind eye. And then the gross, disgusting people get what they want from the children or whoever else it is that they're trafficking. So that also came up as well. Just keep that in mind. So with that being said, I'm going to close out this cold case of Derek Samuels. I want to thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Unsolved Energy with Travi, where silence still speaks and the energy never dies. If this episode pulled you in, make sure you hit those notifications, subscribe on all podcast platforms, and leave a review or a comment so more people can find the show. And don't forget, subscribe to my TikTok to catch me live, where the energy unfolds in real time. I do real live mediumship readings on TikTok several times a week, okay? Then I take those TikTok videos, the TikTok live readings, and then I transfer them over to the YouTube channel. So then you can head on over to YouTube and join the replay gang for exclusive replays, clips, and extended content. If you have a cold case, missing person case, or a story you feel needs a deeper spiritual look, send your information to ConnectWithTravi@gmail.com. That's ConnectWithTravi@gmail.com. Until next time, protect your energy, trust your intuition, and remember, some cases may go cold, but energy never does. Once again, this has been Unsolved Energy with Travi. I want to send you guys with love and light. Until next time, talk to you later, guys.